They had conquered thousands of worlds, but they had never met humans. The galaxy had long forgotten what fear felt like. Civilizations rose, clashed, and vanished, yet one truth endured. The predators always stood at the top. They did not conquer out of anger or greed, but out of instinct. It was simply what they were. When the signal from the blue planet first reached them, it wasn't taken seriously. Primitive, one of them clicked, scanning the chaotic broadcast of human transmissions. They argue with each other more than they explore. Another tilted its elongated head. They also invented something called rubber ducks. I am unsure if this is a weapon. A pause. We should investigate. By the time their fleet slipped into Earth's orbit, humanity had already noticed. Well, Captain Emre muttered, staring at the massive, blade-like ships blotting out the stars. That's definitely not weather. His comms officer snorted. Unless clouds started looking judgmental. The first contact was brief. Species designation. Human. The Predator envoy transmitted, its voice cold and precise. You will submit. Resistance is statistically irrelevant. Emre leaned back in his chair, scratching his chin. Statistically irrelevant? That's rude. We haven't even had coffee yet. Captain, the officer whispered, they're waiting. I know. He tapped the console, opening a channel. Listen, space lizards, no offense, you sure you don't want to talk this through? Maybe start with a nice cultural exchange? We've got great music. Terrible politics, but great music. Silence. Then, humor detected. Inefficient defense mechanism. Hey, it's worked so far. Emre shot back. You're still talking instead of shooting. Another pause, longer this time. Correction, the envoy replied. We are deciding where to aim. Around Earth, the Predator fleet began to shift, their formations tightening like a closing fist. Emre exhaled slowly, a grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. All right, he said softly. Guess we're skipping the small talk. He glanced at his crew, who suddenly looked far more awake than any caffeine could manage. Let's show them, he added, why picking a fight with humans is usually a bad long-term investment. Somewhere in orbit, the Predators prepared to erase another species. And for the first time in a very long time, they hesitated. The first shot never came from the Predators. It came from Earth. A thin beam of light lanced upward, not toward a ship, but past them, vanishing into the dark. For a moment, nothing happened. Then one of the Predator vessels flickered. Report, the envoy demanded. Unknown interference, another replied. Our targeting grid is laughing. What? On Earth, Emre leaned forward. Did it work? His engineer grinned. We uploaded a recursive anomaly into their systems. You mean a virus? I mean, she said, barely holding back a laugh. Every time they try to lock onto a target, their system opens a file labeled definitely not a trap. It is always a trap. Emre blinked. That's childish. It's working. Above, Predator ships began drifting slightly out of formation. This is illogical, one of them clicked. Our systems are designed to resist. Why is it asking me to confirm if I am a real Predator? Do not press anything, the envoy snapped. I pressed it. On Earth, the control room erupted in laughter. Capture, the comms officer wheezed. We're saving the planet with captures. Emre shook his head. I can't believe this is our grand strategy. The envoy's voice cut through again, sharper now. Human commander. You employ deception beneath acceptable combat standards. Emre smirked. You invaded during breakfast. I think we're past acceptable. A pause. Then the Predators adapted. Their ships powered down targeting systems entirely, shifting to manual control. The formation stabilized again, colder, more deliberate. Clever, the envoy admitted. You forced us to think. Yeah, Emre said quietly. We do that a lot. Missiles launched, sleek, silent, and far too many. Okay, the comms officer muttered. Jokes aside, that's a problem. Emre's smile didn't fade. Good. Means they're taking us seriously. He tapped the console again. Phase 2. From the dark side of the moon, something stirred. Human ships, hidden, waiting. Not sleek. Not elegant. But very, very real. Surprise, Emre whispered. For the first time, the Predators weren't just hesitating. They were reacting. The first human ship didn't fire. It rammed. Did we just... The comms officer started. Yes, Emre said calmly. We absolutely did. The impact shattered one of the Predator vessels, its sleek structure folding like it had never imagined something would dare touch it. Silence rippled across their fleet. Not from damage, but from disbelief. They collide on purpose? One Predator whispered. Apparently, the envoy replied, slower now. Emre leaned back, eyes fixed on the chaos unfolding above. You spent centuries perfecting not getting hit, he muttered. We spent ours surviving getting hit. More human ships surged forward, not elegant, not predictable. Some fired, some dodged. One inexplicably blasted loud music across open channels. Is that rhythm? A predator asked. It is distracting, another admitted. On the human side, the engineer grinned. Psychological warfare. Emre huffed. Add it to the list. The predator fleet faltered. Not because they were weaker, but because this made no sense. No clean formations. No perfect logic. Just stubborn, chaotic resistance. Human commander. The envoy called again, but this time there was something new in its voice. State your objective. Emre paused, glancing at his crew. They looked tired. Terrified. Alive. Our objective, he said. We go home. Still breathing. That's it. That is inefficient. Yeah, Emre smiled faintly. But it works. Another human ship rammed a predator cruiser. Mostly. The envoy went silent for a long moment, as its fleet struggled to adapt to something it had never needed to understand. Fear. Withdraw, it finally ordered. The word echoed across their channels like something ancient and forbidden. You're leaving, the comms officer blinked. Emre didn't answer immediately. He watched as the massive ships turned, not in defeat, but in something quieter. Something learned. They'll be back, someone whispered. Of course, Emre said. He exhaled, shoulders finally dropping. Next time, maybe they'll bring better jokes. A weak laugh passed through the room. The envoy's final message arrived, softer than before. Humanity, you are illogical. Emre smirked. You noticed. A pause. We will remember. The stars cleared as the fleet vanished. For the first time, the galaxy understood something new. Not all nightmares were born from darkness. Some were born from those who refused to be afraid.